Hello, I'm Tim. Welcome to a Luminous Flow tutorial. I'll be guiding you through the entire process of setting up your first Flow project from start to finish. Okay, so first thing you want to do is download and install the package. To do so, either use the download button on our documentation page, just up here, or if you already have an account with us, you can get it from the Luminous Portal dashboard. The link to the documentation is in the description below. Once you have your download, you just need to install it. To do so, simply open your project in Unity. As you can see here, I have a fresh new project. Make sure as well that your new project has the Universal Render Pipeline enabled. To do so, click New Project, and then click Universal 3D Create Project once you've given it a suitable name. Once you've got the project open, you're going to want to go to Window, Package Manager, and we're going to want to add a package here. In order for our package to work, we're going to need a couple of other things. The first one we're going to have to add is called Pun2. You can find this by going to the Unity Asset Store, looking up Pun2, and you'll see it looks like this. Then you click on Add to Assets. You see I've already done that, so it says Open in Unity. And then when you go to Packages, My Assets, it will show up here. And you can click Download, and it will download. And then you can click Import, and it will import. Once it's finished importing, you'll see this screen here. Just finish by clicking Import and wait for the bar to finish. You're also going to want to go ahead and grab Photon Voice 2, another free package from the Unity Asset Store, and import it in the same way. In order to get our package installed here, you want to get the package, double-click it. It will then begin to do its thing. And once the loading bar is complete, we can continue. Once the package is finished installing, you'll be presented with this warning saying that Unity Package has Package Manager dependencies. Just go ahead and click Install/Upgrade. And give it a little while to finish importing those packages. Once that's done, you'll be presented with another Import Unity Package window. Just go ahead and click Import on that one and wait for another loading bar to finish. Once the package is finished fully importing, we need to go and add some scripting defines. So, you want to go to File, Build Settings, Player Settings, and then you want to make sure you're on the Player tab, and then you want to scroll down, click on Other Settings, scroll down a little further, down to here, where you see the scripting defined symbols. You then want to add a small list, which you'll find in the documentation. I'll do this now and show you what it looks like afterwards. Okay, this is what the list should look like once you're done. As you can see, I've put in a few extra defines there. Feel free to pause the video at this point and check them out, make sure they're the same as yours, or consult the documentation. Do also ensure that you are using Unity version 2022.3.20 F1, which is our recommended version, or you may encounter some errors that I haven't shown in this video. We're now finished with the project settings, and we're going to move on to setting up Flow itself. So close these, head to the Luminous tab, and click on Flow Setup, which should open this window just here. Here we follow the instructions on screen to set up Flow. We can determine which platform we want to use, as well as tweaking a few other things, as you'll see as we go through. First off, we can pick our platform, whether we want to be targeting MetaQuest, HTC Focus, desktop, or desktop VR. For the purposes of this, I'm going to be just targeting desktop windows. As an additional note, make sure that if you do want to target MetaQuest Android or any of the other Android platforms that you have the relevant packages installed, this can be done through the Unity Hub window. Once you've selected your platform, you then go ahead and click Next, and you'll be presented with the credentials page where it asks for the Portal Communications server base address, which is something that we provide to our customers and will allow you to connect to our portal through our platform. In here, we're just going to put in the default server base address, which is portal.luminous3d.io. You can then go ahead and click Apply Settings to save that. Here you can choose your branding color, so we have a variety of different colors and highlights that you can select from. This is something you can come back to later once you've seen how it's reflected in the scene itself, and you're welcome to mess around with this as much as you like to find a color scheme that suits you. Once you've decided on something here, you can go ahead and click Next, and that takes us to the lobby page. Again, this allows us to select the main color and secondary color, and you can apply that when you're happy with it. Moving on now, we're going to go to the scenario page. This is going to help us create the scenario that we're going to make in this project. You're just going to put the name in and the app ID. For now, we're just going to stick with the defaults as I demonstrate this, but for you, you would put in the details that you're going to want on the portal and on the name of your application when you build it. Moving on to the modules page, here is where we would create modules within a scenario. The scenario is the overarching holder, and the modules you can think of like levels in a game. They're the different processes you can load into from the lobby once everything's fully set up. Once you've added any modules that you would like to add, you can then click Next, and that brings us to the localization page. Here you see at the top there's an opening for a Google TTS Translation API key. This is something that you will need to get from Google yourself. Once it's put in here, it's then stored in the editor folder down here, over at the side here where you'll see it, which you can then use within your project to create TTS voiceovers. Once that's done, you can then choose supported languages and also choosing a main language. It's very important that you pick a main language and that the main language you pick is the main one that you will be developing for, as this is what the default will be for all TTS within the module. Once you're finished with your text-to-speech and translation settings, you can click Next and head to the Getting Going. Here you'll see that everything has finished being configured, and if you would like, you can click on the Luminous docs if you don't already have them open, and click Just Finished. Once you've clicked Finish, you'll then be presented with this screen here. You'll see the Scene Player VR has opened, which is our main scene for the virtual reality modules. However, today I'm just going to be working in desktop, so I'm going to close this and open up a desktop version of the same scene. Now that everything's set up, we can take a look at the sample module that we have set up in the scene. This is a module where you can experiment with some of the interactions that we have and see the functionality firsthand. To find this module, you just need to go to your project window, type in Interactions Sample, and then you'll find a couple of these come up. We've got Interaction Sample module here. Click this, drag it into the hierarchy. And you'll see here the TextMesh Pro window pops up. Just click Import. This will allow you to have UIs you can read and functional text within the modules themselves. Go ahead and close that window when you're finished. Before you can load into the Interaction Sample module and check it out, you do need to do a couple of things first. You go to Window, Photon Unity Networking, and hit the Pun Wizard. Click Setup Project, and then add your email in here and click Setup Project. If you're not planning on using this, however, you can just click Skip, although there will be a warning that pops up when you hit play, so just be aware of that. The next thing you need to do is if you open up Managers on here, click on the Environment Loader. You'll see over here on the right, you may or may not have a little error saying not addressable on the environment that's being loaded. Click on that, it'll highlight it in your project window, and then just tick this box that says addressable. Finally, go to File, Build Settings, and check up here to make sure that the correct scene that you want to load in here and is active, as in has the little tick mark next to it. So I will be loading in using the Player Desktop Interactor. You may want to be using the VR headset, so do just untick this and tick VR if you want that, but I will be using the desktop for now. Also make sure this should be ticked already by default, but just make sure that the module we're loading into is ticked as well. Give this a little close, and then we're ready to hit play. So do so now. This little warning will pop up if you haven't set up the Photon Wizard, but it's okay to just click OK. Loading bars will then happen. And you'll see yourself loaded into this beautiful scene. If you're in desktop like I am, you can hold down right click to move the camera around. You can then use the WASD keys to move around the scene as you wish. As you see here, we have a little scenario set up for you, so you can click Next on here and play through if you'd like to be introduced to some of our mechanics. But I'm going to just hit play again to stop for now. And then I'm going to remove the scene. Now, once you've had a look around our sample scene, you're probably going to want to make a module of your own. In order to do that, you go back to Luminous Flow Setup, and we'll take ourselves back to the scenario page here. Just going to hit Save, so that we can save the scenario settings. If you are a creator, just use what's in there and hit Save. If you are a developer, you can find this information in your instance of the Luminous portal. You then go down to Modules, and we can add in a new module. Once again, if you're a creator, just use these set up here for you. You hit New Module, type in Flow Default Module 1, hit Save Module. This will now create the scene and the graph for you. We'll get a look at that. It'll open it for you straight away. If you are a developer, however, again, you will find the information for this and you can edit it and change it in the Luminous portal as well. Please do see the video on Luminous portal for more information about that. Once you finish creating your module in here, you can close this window and you'll see that the module is open behind us. The reason that we see this brown in the Unity skybox behind us is because we don't have a main scene, as we call it. That would be the player VR scene or one of the desktop scenes. Again, I'm going to use the desktop scene, so I'm just going to type in Desktop Interactor, and then we're going to find that there, drag it into the hierarchy, right-click on it, and set it active. Bear in mind that the active scene must be one of the main scenes for anything to work properly. Now, in the scene that you've created here, you want to go under Managers here and click on Game Manager. Looking over to the right here, you'll see that we have a graph that we've already created for you. This is our proprietary system that allows you to create the flow, create the module of your choosing. It will take a moment to load on the first opening. However, once that's done, you'll be able to create a graph yourself and design a flow suited to your needs. So make this window bigger. You see there's a few default nodes in already. You can use middle mouse to move around. You can zoom in and out also with the mouse wheel. You can right click to create a node, or you can just drag from the start node out to the side and create a node that way. You can find more information on each of our nodes and how to set up a flow yourself in the documentation. Now, before we set up a graph properly, we'll just go look at what we've got in the scene here. If you navigate over to the center of the scene, I'm going to turn off gizmos as well to make this a little bit easier to see. You'll see that we have a teleport point and the hand menu set up for you already. We can use this then as the building blocks for our module. You'll also notice if you look in through the hierarchy, please do take some time to browse through everything that you see here. There's some teleport areas, which include a teleport mesh for teleporting around in, as well as the first person areas, which is the limitation of the area that you can walk around in desktop. So in order to use some of these objects, we're going to set up the graph. Very simply, open the graph, and all I'm going to do is click and drag, type in teleport. So we have a teleport to location step. Just neaten it up a little bit there. Create another one. And we'll make this one just an open or close hand menu step, just to keep things nice and simple to start with. First thing we're going to do is make sure the hand menu step is set to open. And for the teleport step, you can click here. There's no reference. You can see highlighted by the red outline, which indicates that this is a necessary thing that is missing. You can then click on the teleport point, and we can close the graph now. And this will require us to teleport first to the teleport point, and then open our hand menu in order to complete the steps. If we want something to display in the hand menu, we can also click and drag from a start action here, type in hand menu. We then have a set hand menu text node, align that again, put in the title, first step, for example. Remove the subtitle for now because I don't want any. And then for the body, we'll just type, this is the first step. And then for the second step, we'll do the same thing. We'll do another hand menu. Type in second step. Delete the subtitle. And then for the body, this is the second step. Now this is going to mean that something shows up in our hand menu, and we will be able to teleport and then open the hand menu, and this should complete the graph for us. So the final thing we're going to do here before we hit play is we're just going to get this move to origin object. We're just going to move it back a little bit away from the teleport point so that you don't start directly over it. Go ahead and hit save, and then play. Once you've loaded into the module, you can open the graph again, and you will see here that there is a yellow box around the node that we are currently on. We can move this over to the side just to keep track of it a little bit, as it will stay overlaid even when you're moving around. Now, to complete this first step, all we want to do is move over here. There's a little prompt that pops up. You can see there, teleport. If you hit T, teleports, and you see that the box now moves over to the hand menu step. In order to complete the hand menu step, all you need to do is hit the M key, although in VR it'll be the menu button on your left controller. So hitting M now, you'll see that the yellow highlight has moved, and we've opened the hand menu over here. Now we have no end condition or exit condition for this graph, so it's just going to sit here now, and all of the buttons won't really work. However, that's the basic functionality of graphs. Now that you've got a functional graph, you probably want to know how to be able to get in through the lobby and through the portal. So we're going to have a look at that now. The first thing you need to do is actually remove this scene from the hierarchy. So you've just got your desktop interactor or just got your player VR scene open. Second of all, you're going to want to go to the lobby itself. You'll have provided with a link and a login for this, and you want to make sure that the users have been set up correctly. For more information on this, please do see our portal video. Before you can just hit play, however, there's a few things you do need to check. First of all, go to the project window, type in credential, and you'll find the credential loader settings here. Click on those, and make sure that the server base address is portal.luminous3d.io, and the scenario ID and the scenario visual name match the information that you put into the setup window earlier. Once you've done that, you're ready to go, so just hit play. And once the loading bar is finished, you will load into the lobby. Once the lobby has successfully loaded, you'll be presented with a screen like this. Simply move around, head towards the screen. You'll notice it's asking for an activation code. If you are one of our creators, you can simply type in the code creator, like that. However, if you are one of our developers, then you will have your own activation code, which you can find in the portal. Once again, please do see our portal video for more information on that. Confirming will take you then to the start screen. Clicking start, you'll then be able to find a pin. The pin you'll need to get from the portal, as mentioned earlier, under one of the users that you've set up previously. The pin I have set is 12591, so I'll put that in right now. And then we'll hit enter. Now you should see your name here if you are one of our developers, otherwise you will just see a generic creator name. Here you can pick your avatar. Choose whether you want to go into single user or multi-user, and then choose also which mode you want to go into. So I'm going to pick assisted learning. You'll see here it is then pulling down the default scenario we created earlier. You can click select on this, and then it will pull down all the modules that you have pre-set up. Once again, if you are a developer, you will have your own set of modules here, but creators will have access to the default modules 1 through 5. Default module 1 is the only one we've currently set up so far, so I'm going to hit start on that. It's going to give us a little countdown and then load us into the module itself. Now you can see after a very quick loading screen that has loaded us into the module that we created. Over there is the teleporter. We're going to move forward, hit teleport. We're then going to open our hand menu, and that is going to be the graph completed. So we can check over here, go into our game manager, open the graph. You'll see this is the graph that we created earlier when it loads. And there you are. You see now that we have the teleport step, the hand menu step, and neither of them are highlighted, meaning we have completed both. Closing this graph again now. If you hit the restart key, you will load into the intermediary scene briefly, which then allows you to load back into the module, and we have restarted. So if we once again go to the game manager over here, open the graph, and you'll see we are on step 1 with the yellow highlight there. If you want to return to the lobby, hit M, open the hand menu, or if you're in VR, hit the left controller menu button, and then just click exit. This has now loaded us back into the lobby, and we're back on the mode selection screen. For the final step here, I'm going to show you how to create a build. It's a pretty straightforward process. You just have to go to File, Build Settings. Make sure you're targeting the correct platform. Once again, I will be targeting desktop. However, if you wish to, you can swap to Android, and then just make sure that you tick Player VR and untick Player Desktop Interactor. I'm going to leave things as is for the moment, though. Now, before you just go ahead and click Build, you have to do one other step, which is to go to Window, Asset Management, Addressables, and then Groups. Here you'll find all of the environment scenes, which we've set as addressable. This allows us to load them into the headset with slightly less overhead. Once you're on this page, you simply go to the Build drop-down, click New Build, Default Build Script. When you get a pop-up like this is entirely up to you. If you would like a new addressables build report, you can turn this on. If you don't, don't. Addressables can take quite some time to build. It depends on the size of the environments that you've created and how many models are contained within them. Because this is a relatively small project, it shouldn't take too long. However, it can take a very long time. So do be aware when you start these off that it could take a good 30 to 40 minutes if it's a large module. Go make yourself a coffee, have a sit down. Okay, now the addressables are finished building. As you can see down here, mine took just over an hour. This is pretty typical for the first time you build. However, it does speed up the more you do it. So as you've made 4 or 5 builds, that time should cut down to just a few minutes at the most. With that done, we can head up to File, Build Settings, and we can just go ahead and click the Build button. Then you'll open up your Unity folder where your project is located. You can right-click here, click New Folder, and type in Build, or whatever you'd like to call it for your build folder. Select the folder, click Select Folder, and then the building process will commence. This should take, again, another 10 minutes or so. Once that's finished building, you'll see it opens up the build folder for you. This is your executable just here. I never renamed mine, so it's just called My Project. And if you would like to run that, you just double-click it, like any other application, and then it'll launch. After a short loading screen here, you'll be loaded into the lobby, like we saw before. And then you can go up and do the exact same process as we did earlier. Type in Creator into the activation code. In Build, this will be stored, so this is only a one-time entry. And then you can hit Start, type in your PIN code again. You'll be welcomed in again. Choose your avatar, pick a play mode, go into a room, pick a module, run the module. Now, once again, you'll see this is our module that we created with a very simple teleporter. So we can go over to the teleporter, hit teleport, and then it's just going to want us to open the hand menu like so. And we can click exit, and that returns us back to the lobby again. And that's it. That's everything you need to know about building and running your application. All the way from installing the package, right the way to launching into the lobby like this, and then eventually into your own applications. For any more information, please do see the documentation. And thank you very much. Have a good day.